This video covers section 9.6, Rationalizing Radical Expressions. Objective 2, rationalize a denominator containing two terms. In Objective 1, we looked at how to rationalize a denominator containing one term, and we saw that it was a process of multiplying the fraction top and bottom by the same radical expression so that the denominator is free of a radical. In Objective 2, the denominators are going to be two terms or binomials. So we need to review and remember what it takes to multiply a binomial radical expression by another binomial radical expression to make it free of radicals. And the way this is achieved is by whatever you start with, square root x minus root 3, you multiply it by its conjugate or just by changing the middle sign. So this should be x plus radical 3. And now when this happens, we get square root of x times square root of x, which is the square root of x squared. We get square root of x times square root of 3, which is square root of 3x, minus square root of 3 times square root of x, which is minus square root of 3x, minus square root of 3 times square root of 3, which is square root of 9. Square root of x squared is x when x is non-negative. These middle two terms cancel out, and we have minus square root of 9 or minus 3. And the big deal here is that this is free of radicals. So the process is anytime you have a plus b and multiply by a minus b, it'll end up being free of radicals. So if our denominator contains a 4 minus square root of 2, to rationalize this denominator, I'll have to multiply it top and bottom by something that will free up the radical in the denominator. And in order to free up the radical in the denominator with the 4 minus rad 2, I multiply by its conjugate, 4 plus rad 2. I put it in the bottom, and I also put it in the top. The numerator is going to be 6 times 4 plus square root of 2. The denominator is going to be 4 times 4 is 16 plus 4 times square root of 2 minus 4 square root of 2 minus square root of 2 times square root of 2 is minus square root of 4. So I get 6 times 4 plus square root of 2 divided by 16. These two are going to cancel. Minus 2. 6 times 4 plus square root of 2 divided by 16 minus 2, which is 14. So now you see why I didn't distribute the 6, because now 2 goes into 6 3 times and 2 goes into 14 7, giving us 4 plus square root of 2 divided by 7. In letter B, to rationalize the denominator, we're going to multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of square root 6 plus square root of 2. The plus sign means we switch it to the minus sign. And what we do to the bottom, we must also do to the top. Now we have to FOIL these out. Square root of 6 times square root of 6 is the square root of 36. Square root of 6 times square root of 2 is square root of 12. Square root of 2 times square root of 6 is square root of 12. And square root of 2 times square root of 2 is minus the square root of 4. Because we multiplied by the conjugate, that's going to cancel the middle two terms, and we'll have 6 minus 2. In the numerator, square root of 3 times square root of 6 is square root of 18. Square root of 3 times square root of 2 is square root of 6. Square root of 2 times square root of 6 is square root of 12. And minus root 2 times minus root 2 is positive root 4. So we have square root of 18 minus square root of 6 minus square root of 12 plus square root of 4, which is 2. Now we just have to simplify all those radicals. 18 is 9 times 2, so that's the square root of 9, which is 3. Square root of 2 minus square root of 6. 12 is 4 times 3, so that's 2 radical 3. Plus 2, all divided by 4. And this leads us to 2 practice problems for you to try. I encourage you to press pause on your video and work these out, and come back when you're ready to see the solution. Now that you've had a chance to work these out, I'll work these out with you. When the denominator contains 2 terms, we must multiply the denominator by the conjugate. The minus turns into a plus, or a plus turns into a minus. What we do to the bottom, we also do to the top. We FOIL out the bottom. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times positive root 6 is 5 root 6. Negative root 6 times 5 is negative 5 root 6. And negative root 6 times root 6 is the square root of 36. This gives us square root of 3 times 5 plus root 6 divided by 25 minus 6, which is 19. And the 5 root 6 cancels with the 5 root 6. We distribute the root 3 across and get 5 square root of 3 plus square root of 3 times square root of 6 is square root of 18. And then we rewrite this as 3 square root of 2. Over 19. And I just noticed in example 3a that I forgot my 3 in front of this, which I'll go ahead and distribute that across and write 12 plus 3 square root of 2 over 7. Practice 3b. The denominator is square root of x plus 4, so we'll multiply by a radical expression, square root x minus 4. I'm going to do the bottom first. That's square root of x squared minus 4 square root of x plus 4 square root of x minus 16. That gives us, canceling the middle, square root of x squared is x minus 16. The numerator is going to be square root of x times square root of x, which is square root x squared, minus 4 square root of x, minus another 4 square root of x. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16, and that gives us x minus 4 root x minus 4 root x is minus 8 square root of x plus 16. And this concludes the video for section 9.6, Rationalizing Radical Expressions, Objective 2, Rationalize a Denominator containing two terms.